On January 15, 1934, the state of Bihar in India, Nepal was devastated by the most catastrophic earthquake to ever occur in that area. The earthquake occurred at the location where the Eurasian and Indian plates form a convergent plate boundary. The earthquake completely destroyed the areas of Bangar along the Ganges River in India. Kathmandu Valley in Nepal was destroyed as well. The India-Nepal earthquake that took place in 1988 had a very similar characteristics. With this being said, it is likely that we will see another powerful event like this in the future. In order to take action to prevent this occurrence, it is important that we fully understand what took place in 1934.
The earthquake of 1934 caused intense slumping, fissuring, and tilting of the Earth's superficial layers. It had a moment magnitude of 8 and intensity of an 11. The epicenter was located 240 kilometers east of Kathmandu. For a time, there was controversy over the location of the epicenter. Following the earthquake, Indian geologists released an article reporting that the epicenter was located within Bihar in northern India, hence the original name of the earthquake, based on the widespread damage that occurred there. Further investigations by other geologists, however, have concluded that the damage observed in India was not congruent with the damage that should appear in the area surrounding the epicenter. Thus, it is now believed that the epicenter is located within Nepal, approximately 240 kilometers east of Kathmandu, Nepal's capital city, where the damage was caused mostly by the shaking of the ground. The plates causing the earthquake were along the Himalayan frontal thrust, called the megathrust fault, which is an active plate boundary along the Himalayan arc that stretches nearly 2,000 kilometers. The collision of the Indian and Eurasian plates are the cause of earthquakes along the Himalayan arc. At this time, the Indian plate is moving toward the Eurasian plate at a rate of 30 to 55 millimeters per year. Scientists have found clear ground scars in the central Himalayas left by earthquakes. An earthquake equally as powerful and impactful occurred in the year 1255. Based on this and other indications from the geology of the region, scientists forecast that 2 earthquakes measuring above a magnitude of 8 are likely to strike the area each millennium. As demonstrated by the Bihar, India, Nepal earthquake of 1988, which had a magnitude of 6.6 and killed 1,400 people, the area is still vulnerable to lesser but more frequent earthquakes.
Although modernization had begun to take hold in the larger cities of Nepal with the building of its first hospital in 1889, most of the smaller towns and villages were marooned following the earthquake. Because medical centers were few and far between, many of the injured were left to die untreated. In addition, Nepal was still trying to establish itself as a nation following its recent formal acquirement of independence from Britain in 1923. The earthquake devastated the fragile system and caused major setbacks in development. As proved evident by the amount of devastation following the almost mild earthquake in 1988, neither India nor Nepal are prepared structurally to withstand large earthquakes. At the time, even government buildings were not abiding by their own building codes in India. The seismic code requires a minimum 1:6 cement to sand mortar ratio be used in structures in Bihar, yet numerous buildings constructed in Bihar by the State Engineering Department were built with a cement to sand mortar ratio of 1:8. Implementation of the seismic codes must be enforced to prevent as much damage and loss of life as possible. In addition, it is necessary to reinforce existing structures. It is also important to evaluate the structure of dams, refineries, and other chemical factories, which pose incredible dangers where they are located in seismically active zones.
The 1934 Bihar, India, Nepal earthquake is the largest and most devastating earthquake ever to ravage India and Nepal. As evident by the observations we have discussed, we can expect to see another event like this in the future. Now is the time to prepare.
9,000 people were killed and 50,000 injured in a tremendous earthquake which devastated sections of northwest India near Benares, leveling buildings in village after village and burying the hapless victims in the ruins of their homes, factories, and schools. A terrible catastrophe, without doubt one of the worst holocausts of modern times.